Hero MotoCorp has been in the motorcycle market for a long time. Actually, they're the world's biggest. But then they've stepped into the premium motorcycle segment very recently with the Xpulse and the Karizma. But now comes the middleweight, the Mavrick 440. The Mavrick then promises a lot, but does it deliver? We are about to tell you. Stay tuned to AutoToday and do remember to subscribe. Now let me take you through the motorcycle. First and foremost, the front end comes with nice chunky telescopic forks, 17-inch wheels and tubeless tires. Then you have this nice looking headlight which has a sensor. So when you're riding during the day, you will only see the DRLs glow. And at the same time, when the light fades, there's a sensor on the speedometer console which detects the drop in light and switches on the light. That's fantastic. It's boring to have headlights working along with DRLs. It just takes away from the look of the motorcycle. Then you have the instrument panel. It's a small little thing, but it's a digital affair and it comes with all the bells and whistles. You get turn-by-turn navigation which you can connect to using the app which Hero will provide you. Then you have a speedometer and a tachometer which is rather small. The handlebar also is a very nice wide unit and the switch gear falls to hand very easily. If I were to complain, I would wish the switch gear to be a little more quality. That would make it much better. The mirrors are good too. And when you look at the motorcycle from the side, you will realize that the bike has very chunky proportions. The tank and everything looks very nice and very aggressive. And you will notice one more thing, that the throttle cables are routed on top, and that is because the tank is so close to the handlebar that if they would have turned down, they would have fouled with the tank itself. Then we have the shrouds in the front of the motorcycle which gives it that rakish look. Overall, the front end looks stellar and a bit old school monsterish, if we can call it, if you know what I am saying. Now let's get onto the rear section and tell you what all is there and is it good looking enough. Now, the front end is all about adding mass to the motorcycle and the rear end is kept very slim. You can see the body panels are very slim again and this section particularly I'm talking about, and it blends beautifully into the LED tail light which very cleverly, when you hit the brakes, turns into an H. Clever design. The one thing I'm not a big fan of is this mudguard unit, but they have to do it because of regulations. But top tip, a tail tidy will make this look much better. Now let's get on to the engine and the transmission. Now there's no denying the fact that this engine, transmission and chassis comes from the Harley-Davidson X440 which Hero MotoCorp and Harley-Davidson developed together. Now in the Mavrick, nothing has changed. It's the same state of tune, about 26 bhp and 36 Newton meters of torque, all sent to the rear wheel using a 6-speed transmission. The chassis remains the same. The exhaust, although, looks much better than the one Harley has, and I'm happy to report that the overall proportions of the motorcycle and the way it looks is very nice. It's much better than the X440, and that's what makes this slightly different. The other thing which Hero has done is stuck to the twin shock unit at the back, and as a result there's no monoshock out here, and you also get ABS on this motorcycle. So when it comes to cycle parts, Hero has loaded up the Mavrick properly. Now the Mavrick is quite an imposing looking motorcycle and it looks good, but when you sit on it, it becomes so much better. Now before I get on the bike and tell you more, let me tell you that there are two types of seats which we experienced. One was a firmer seat, which is this one, and the one which I rode yesterday was a softer seat. Now for longer rides, the firmer one seems better, and I was more comfortable today than I was yesterday. We did about a 120 kilometer run yesterday and the soft seat was not as comfortable as this one. So if finally that is something which you get, you should go for the firmer seat if you are a long distance rider, and you should go for the softer one if you are riding mostly in the city. The other thing which this bike doesn't get is the pillion backrest. Now this is a very nicely done little unit out here, and you can just get it as an accessory. Now coming to the more important bit, Getting on the bike is really easy. You can just swing a leg over, and the 803 millimeters of seat height seems very approachable. Now I'm 5'5" for reference, and you can see I can firmly put my feet down. When you sit on the bike, the handlebar, the footped and the triangle basically on which the rider is sitting is very comfortable. Now let me show you this. Now when you're riding for longer distances, it's a very natural position, and that is something which will keep you comfortable on the longer rides. The one thing which I forgot to tell is that the Mavrick comes with a USB charger which is cleverly positioned on the tank out here, and what you can do is have your mobile phone mount here and plug it in, so that will keep your mobile phone charged and ready to go. Of course you get navigation, you get turn-by-turn navigation, but in case you want to use Google Maps, you can do that. Now this overall package looks very good. How is it to ride? That's what I'm going to tell you next. When it comes to ride quality, the Mavrick scores well. The roads we were riding on were fairly good, but still had bad patches of undulating tarmac, which propped up as a surprise. The 440 on these roads held its composure very well. To be honest, the bike felt very comfortable with the suspension absorbing the surface with ease. Only a deep pothole now and then was felt, and that too was not bone-jarring hard. Around corners too, the Mavrick holds its ground. The bike tips in, and there's a great deal of confidence the rider derives from the motorcycle. Our ride of the Mavrick 440 was a rather substantial one, and we clocked nearly 300 kilometers in a matter of a day and a half. At low speeds, the Mavrick 440 feels smooth to operate. The long-stroke engine offers ample bottom-end torque, and the bike can cruise at 50 in fifth without any sensation of knocking. However, twist the wrist and the bike takes off without complaining or infusing the need for a downshift. This allows the rider to ride the bike in the city with much ease. Adding to it is the light clutch. Once on the arrow straight roads of Gujarat and en route the Ran of Kutch, the Mavrick 440 transformed into a rather capable mile muncher. Sitting at speeds around 100 kmph, on empty stretches, the motor shows no signs of stress. In fact, the motor shows signs of eagerness to go for more. Once we got an empty stretch of barren land with miles of nothingness around, I opened the throttle and the speedo rapidly climbed past the 120 kmph mark and kept going. At close to 139, I backed off, but still the motor had some more to give. Sure, a bit of vibes crept in at speeds, but till 120 the bike remained smooth and composed. The only hindrance then came in form of the wind blast. Thanks to it being a naked, the drafts caused by the wind at over 120 kmph made it a tad uncomfortable. A small windscreen will sort out matters by a huge margin. The Mavrick then is a complete package. It offers a lot of features, is good to look at, and overall the bike has been priced right. So come to think of it, Hero surely has a winner on its hands. Now all it needs to do is spruce up its premium outlets so that the Mavrick buyer feels special.